What is up, everyone? Welcome to the Creative Hunter podcast. Thank you for hopping on today. This is episode, I think it's like 31 or something. Pretty sweet, though. We've been doing this for quite a while now. I think it's almost been like 6 months since we started. But anyways, today or this week, last couple of weeks, been super crazy. I have been on hunts like all over the place. I had a deer hunt that was my own hunt, and then I had another archery deer hunt that I was filming, and I'm actually headed out to a rifle elk hunt right now that I'm filming. So lots of stuff going on, really fun. I'm loving it. It's been great. I've been gone a lot from home, which has kind of sucked, but I'm having a good time, and just work's been coming along good, and so been good. But I wanted to hop on the podcast this week, and I wanted to go over real quick. It's not going to be a super long episode, but I wanted to go over talking about my deer hunt that I just went on, doing a recap of that because I got a nice buck. If you want to look, it's on Instagram. And then I wanted to talk a little bit about like hunting and Instagram and how to like grow Instagram as a hunting influencer, creative, all that stuff. So first of all, let's start out with the story of the deer hunt. This deer hunt was awesome. So it's November here in Idaho right now, and my general season pretty much ended, so I didn't really have. I thought I was kind of done for the year, but I was looking through on Go Hunt, and I actually found that there are some units that are open later for whitetails and for mule deer in different parts of the state. And I never hunted in any of these areas, but it was open for rifle season. So I decided, like, what the heck? I've got like a whole free week. I'm gonna take a few days out of this week and go try and chase some bucks in some new areas. Just e-scout a bunch for a day and then head out and pick one of the units and get after it. There's a bunch of units. There's like 20 or something units, 20 units or something open for whitetails and mule deer and all that stuff. So I was after mule deer. I wanted to go in the mountains. I wanted to get high, but there's a lot of snow already, like up to like 7,000 feet. There's like too much snow. Higher than that. There's really not a ton of bucks I was seeing that high. But there was a lot of low country that I was going to be able to hunt. I wanted to backpack in, just get away from people. I wanted to go like 5 to 10 miles in and just find some new spots. I wasn't sure, since all of these areas are like open for a long time, I wasn't sure if there was going to be other people there because they were open, and I figured like maybe a bunch of people who hadn't filled their tags yet were going to go try and fill their tags on this tag, but I wasn't sure. So I got one of my buddies. He'd never been backpack hunting before. He hunts a ton though, and we got up there, and the route I wanted to go was about 4 to 5 miles to get back there on the trail. And we pulled up. It looked good. We pulled up like mid-morning. It was already light out. We hiked in. We ended up hiking in about 5 miles that night, and the whole way in we didn't see a single deer. We saw one group of people with horses on our way in, and they were just glassing. Nice guys. And we saw some deer tracks in some areas of the trail, but not really till we got way back in there. So we kind of knew, all right, this is kind of the areas that the deer are going to be in. So we got way up as high as basically we could with the snow levels, and we were camping on top, and we glassed that evening. That evening, I ended up glassing up a 4-point buck, and he had about 3 or 4 does with him, and they were like halfway back to the car. So they were like the other direction. But so they were a long ways away, so they were like 2 miles away. But which was fine because it was kind of an area I e-scouted and it looked good, and I was okay dropping back down in that area. I just wanted to see what was back in there. The problem is, if we went any further, the burn kind of ended where we were at, and we would have been in like thick pine trees the whole way. So it wasn't really worth going any further unless we went like miles further, which we only had 3 days to hunt, and this was like day one, so we only had 2 more full days, so I wasn't really I wasn't really planning on going any further than we had already gone. So we glassed up this buck on this face, and I just kind of watched them till dark, and they just fed up this face into a little pocket, and it got dark on us, so I didn't see them anymore. On this hunt, it's a late season hunt. We were getting snow. We were camping in the snow, so we had to clear out a spot for the tent and everything. We brought the Seek Guardian 2-person tent, and we also brought the stove that goes with that from Seek Outside. So we were toasty. We had the stove. We were totally dried out the whole time. It was really nice. So we camped out. What I decided is nights are so long. Let's just go to bed really early. We're both pretty tired. We got up early the morning before to drive up there. Let's go to bed early. Let's get up early, pack our stuff before light, and hike down the ridge to the spot where we saw those deer. And we'll set up our camp there unless we see those deer that morning. So got up early, packed up everything, the tent, everything, all of our stuff. Hiked down the hill. It was only about 1.5 miles, I think. Or maybe not even that. It wasn't that far, and it was all downhill, so we just booked it down the ridge, got there perfect time as it's starting to get light. We glassed all day, and we didn't see a single deer, and we glassed everywhere where those deer, where we thought that they were, that 4-point and those does. Didn't see a single deer all day. There was those guys on horses that we saw the first day, they must have seen that buck the day before when I saw it, because they were up on top of the hill where that buck had to work to kind of up that face. So they were up above where the buck was the night before. And they were kind of moving around, looking around. I'm pretty sure they saw that buck the night before, but he was nowhere to be found. We didn't see any deer, not even does, anything. This area I found didn't have a huge density of deer, but there was some deer. So that was good, but there wasn't a huge density. I decided I don't think those deer went that far. I think they're still going to be here. And we have one more day to glass. So instead of trying to move areas, we'd have to move a long ways if we wanted to move areas. We're just going to camp out here another night, and we're going to glass the morning. If we don't see anything, we'll kind of hike some ridges and glass into some pockets for the afternoon on our way back to the truck, and then we had to head out that night. So we got up, started glassing, probably 20 minutes into the morning on the third day. I glassed up that buck and his does in almost the exact same spot that I saw him the day before. They were coming up from the bottom, so I have no clue where they went. They must have gone down into a pocket somewhere and were hanging out the whole day the day before. But they came up exactly in the same spot where we saw them. Worked up into some trees. They were about 1.5 miles away from us still, so way too far for a shot. But we could drop all the way down to the bottom and then up the other side and get on a knob, and it'd be a perfect shot at them. So we packed up camp. We went down to the bottom of the canyon. It was probably 2,000 or 1,500 feet vert to the bottom, and then 1,000 feet up to the other side where we were going to shoot him. We dropped down to the bottom, dropped all of our heavy stuff, so our camp, our tent, stove, sleeping bag, everything. And then, because I knew we were going to come down anyways, no matter what, we were going to come back down to our stuff. And went up the hill, and as soon as we got to the top of the hill, the deer were out 350 yards away on the edge of timber, just feeding. And there was 4 or 5 does. There was a 2-point, and then there was this 4-point. And which was a nice buck. So I was like, hey, I'm shooting this thing. So got set up, 350, got the spotter on him. We were filming everything, and dialed to 350. I was using the Weatherby, the new Weatherby. So it's the 7 PRC. I've got a Hawk optic scope on it right now. And I smoked that buck. It was a great shot. I hit him a little low, but it was perfect, tipped the heart, so I still got to keep most of the heart, but it just tipped the heart, and the buck went 30, 40 yards and just tipped over right there. I could see him laying dead in the burnt timber there, so pretty stoked. And we ran over there and got some pictures, got some video of the buck, and then cut him up quick. We quartered him out and boned him out because we had about 2 miles back to the truck, but it was down kind of the bottom of this canyon. There wasn't a trail, and so a lot of you guys probably know, like, going out the bottom is like usually the worst idea unless there's a trail. And so but we could see most of the bottom from our glassing knob, and I was like, it actually looks pretty good. I think we can do it. Famous last words, right? So we cut up the deer, get him in our packs, pack down to our camp, get our camp into our packs, got everything loaded. So there's just 2 of us. We got a deboned buck and all of our camp. It wasn't terrible. It really wasn't that bad. It was a pretty good little load. And we started going down the hill or down the canyon. And for the most part, it was pretty good. It was a lot of deadfall because it was a burn area. So we were hopping burnt logs every once in a while as we were going down there. There's kind of a trail. But we got like within a half mile of the end, and it was all live trees down there, and it was so thick, and there was so much deadfall. It was terrible. It was like the worst. We were going over logs and backtracking and going around and crossing the creek and then going over more logs and getting whacked in the face with branches. Like, you guys know how it is. It was terrible. But we made it out to the road and then got to the truck. And it was actually not that late. It was like 3 o'clock or something. So I shot the buck at 10 in the morning, and then had him packed out by 3 o'clock. So like, we actually did pretty good timing wise, and it really wasn't that far, but it got pretty crappy for a second. But it was fun. So yeah, it's kind of just like the recap of the hunt. Some of the things I learned is like, or maybe not I learned, but I'm proud of myself for, is like sticking around and hoping that buck comes back. He may never have come back, and this story could have gone totally the other way, where that buck never showed up again. But I just thought that he might, and we didn't really have any other option. So that's what we did, is we hung out, and that buck ended up coming back. The area I chose, I don't know if I will ever go back to the exact same spot again. There's kind of some other spots I e-scouted that are a little further back. If I had more time, I probably would have gone first, or I would have preferred to go to. But I love like going to new country and finding new places, because you just get to learn new mountains and learn new different deer behavior and see new stuff. So it was fun. I didn't see as many deer as I thought we would, and I was hoping to see a lot more does because the bucks were rutting like really hard. And so if we would have found an area with more does, we probably would have found more bucks. But I'm not complaining, because it was an awesome hunt. So potentially next year I'll go back to one of those same units and pack in again and do a different spot, try to go a little longer, try to spend some more time back there. But yeah, it was fun. Okay, topic 2 is Instagram. So I've been trying to grow my Instagram the last couple months, and really been conscious about it, and posting more often, posting reels more often, because reels are way better traction than photos are. And there was a time a year or 2 ago when I started posting content every day, and I did it for like probably 6 months, and I grew from about 2,000 followers all the way to almost 5,000 followers, and it was going really good. I kind of slowed down my posting, but for some reason something just like switched with the Instagram algorithm like a year ago, and my page was getting like hardly any growth. Like I would get like a follower here or there, and then I would lose 2 followers, and I would gain 4, and I would lose 3, and it was like so slow for a whole year. I kind of stayed about the same for a really long time, and I wasn't sure why. And I started looking through my Instagram, and there was a little thing that was like, check out your profile or account status, profile status. So I clicked on it, and there's a list of a bunch of things, and they all have green check marks on them, but one of them had a yellow exclamation mark. So I clicked on it, and it says, your content can't be shown to non-followers because of a violation of community guidelines. Which I was like, I didn't know about this. Like, they never like informed me about this. I had to like dig deep into the Instagram settings to find this. And what it ended up being is it showed me like a list of the posts that were against the guidelines, and it was anything with like firearms in them. Um, Nothing with dead animals, nothing with bows, nothing with like knives. It was just firearms. And it wasn't every firearm post I had up, but it was actually a handful of them. So with Instagram, when you post something, it gets views for the next day or two, and then it kind of just falls off as it goes further down the your page. So I archived a bunch of the content that it had as listed as violation of community guidelines, and then some of the ones I really wanted to stay up, I actually did a I forgot what it's called, but you can like do like a rebuttal kind of, where it's like, this isn't like, I don't think this is actually, because they use like AI to determine if it's against the guidelines. So you can submit a thing, and then it'll be a real person who determines if it's against it or not. Most of the content they had probably was not against the guidelines. It was just like pictures of firearms. None of them were like shooting firearms or anything, but Instagram doesn't like that. I don't know how long this had been going on for and how long this was hindering my page and my growth, but I took it off, and then in one day I gained 35 followers, which isn't a ton, but like it's like, compared to what I have been getting, like that's freaking awesome. So something to keep in mind for creatives in the hunting industry is that Instagram is gonna be a little bit of a stickler about content like that, content that shows firearms, or potentially just like content with blood or knives, or I don't think bows are really a big deal. I've never heard of, but it might be. So you got to be careful about that, and really conscious of the type of content that you're posting, and if you're trying to grow a page on Instagram, because that's I mean, it's not what we like to see, because most of the people that are going to see the content are going to be totally fine with what we're posting. But sometimes you just kind of got to play a little bit by the rules if you want to grow, and you want to have an impact on more people and spread the word. You kind of got to change it up a little bit and use some different tactics that work with the algorithm of Instagram, but still get your message and your point, and still push your content out. So just something to keep in mind, and I thought I'd just kind of update everyone on that and just kind of share what I just learned. I also I have like a kind of posting strategy right now that's helping a little bit with my page growth, and it's every day posting a reel and a photo. And the reel doesn't have to be like crazy. Most of my reels that I'm posting right now are videos of mule deer that I've taken, or like live mule deer that I've taken like on the winter range and the rut during hunts, velvet bucks. I've got a bunch of elk videos too. It's just stuff that I like to see, and stuff that I like to watch is like videos of big cool bucks. And so I've been posting a lot of that as some of my real content, and then also filtering in some higher quality stuff. So reels from hunts, some like teasers for films. I like podcast sections, just like this. Taking a section from an interview that I had with someone and posting it as a reel, just to get some more traction on the podcast and also on Instagram. And probably we'll be doing some more stuff and trying to be creative and think out of the box and make some more reels that appeal to people. And then just posting good photos, photography, but not. I'm not always posting like high quality photography. Like, it might be a picture I took on my iPhone, but photos that have meaning and purpose, whether it's educate people, entertain people, or yeah. So just things that that have like a purpose, and the purpose doesn't have to be crazy big, but even just a small purpose will help. So that's kind of my strategy on Instagram. What I do as a creative, and I am kind of trying to grow my own brand, um, to like to be a face in the industry. And I don't think for selfish reasons necessarily. It's because like this is my passion. It's what I love, and so I want to make this a career. And so one of the ways I see a career in this industry is creating my own content, and you could call it an influencer, whatever, content creator. Is like putting out my own films of my own hunts, doing all that kind of stuff, and becoming a face in the industry. um, and that's my way um, of getting my foot in the door and making this hunting industry a career for me. I hear a lot of guys, mostly mid to older guys, not a lot of younger guys, but a little bit, and they're like, "Oh, all these like young guys are just trying to be famous. They're just trying to um, make this content and just trying to push it just so they can be famous because it's like they want to be just like these famous people, whatever, Cameron Haynes or whatever, right? You name it." And sure, there maybe there's some truth to that, but I really think most people who are referred to, and when the guys are talking about this, are just like me, where they have a passion for it and they want to share it, and they love it, and they want to make it a career. And I really don't think it's any different than what these guys like Remy Warren, Cam Haynes, guys who have been in the industry forever. I don't think it's really much different from what they were like when they started. Like they weren't they weren't out there to make it famous, and um, but they were still like sharing, like creating. Like Cam Haynes was like writing stories. He was creating content to share with people, um, and through that he did become like famous. But he made a career in the hunting industry because he put himself out there and showed people what he could do, and all that stuff. And so when guys say things about young creatives and people in the hunting industry, and they say that like these young guys are just out here trying to be famous, maybe there's some truth to some of that. But like if you want to have a career in the hunting industry, and you want to be a face in the industry, you have to get there somehow. And whether it's a want to be famous or whether it's a want to make a career out of it, that's kind of the path, if you want to be a face in the industry. So something that I've kind of thought about recently is just that is like, don't be if you are if you aspire to be like Cam Haynes or Remy Warren or Randy Newberg, whatever. It can be any person in the industry who is a big face and a big name. Um, that's fine. I think that's totally good. I think that you should go for it and push it. And if you want that to be your career, go for it, because there's first of all, there's nothing stopping you, and second of all, it's the best time ever to do it in the history of the world, or in the industry. Like there's never a better time to start something than right now, because there's so much more people watching content, there's so much more people consuming it, there's so much more people who want the content and who will support you, and so much more brands that have money to like work with people who are actually have an audience and are making a difference. So get after it, and that's what I'm all about. That's what I'm doing. I'm trying to get after it, making a name for myself, making my own content, my own products, my own page, and just growing everything, um, because that's what I love, and it's what I want my career to look like in the future, and that's what I'm grinding for. So anyways, enough rambling. Thanks you guys for watching the podcast. This one should go out um, end of November right here, next couple days after I'm recording it. So thank you. Um, let me know if there's any questions, anything. Go hit me up on Instagram. I'm on Instagram, logan.romney, and then we also have the page, The Creative Hunter, media. We got the Bino visors for sale right now, so if you're interested in one of those are on the CreativeHunterMedia.com and under the products. Really been loving them. Everyone who's bought one has liked it and they've used it, and I've gotten some good photos from people, and it's been cool. So I've got a bunch of them made right now. I got like 30 in stock. I've got a ton more. I've got manufacturer who cranks them out every week. So go check those out if you're interested in that. And yeah, with that, thanks you guys. We'll catch you guys next week.